me want to holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Yeah, we need our dose, and we need those strategies, don't we?
We need them.
Yeah, strategies for living. If we're living, we need strategies, and we got them. Right here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome in, folks. Welcome into our little corner that we call Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan, and she is psychotherapist, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillan.
Hey there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Happy
well,
to be here.
we, yesterday, Lauren, we started talking about the Stoic mindset. Stoicism.
That's right.
Is making somewhat of a, not that it's ever really gone away.
Right.
But a lot of people, a lot of younger people are really noticing Stoicism. And we began to talk about a little book called The Stoic Mindset and the 10 principles of Stoicism as identified by Mark Tuitert, who is he's an Olympic gold medalist. And also after the Olympics, he's been a successful entrepreneur. He's had to deal with challenges both on the professional level and in his personal life. And he's used what he calls the Stoic mindset. Mm-hmm. And we started yesterday, and we got a ways. We talked about using setbacks as signposts. We talked about judging less and understanding more.
Right.
We talked about, we win by not focusing on winning. And we talked about what's good for the team is also good for you.
Right.
So we got a ways in, but we have a ways to go. Like accept your fate and love it. Death makes life epic. Happiness is a side effect. A map is good. A compass is even better. Character is your most important project, and actions, well, they speak louder than words. So we're going to continue to unpack this thing called the Stoic mindset today on strategies. What do you say?
Sounds like a great plan.
Think we got a plan?
And I look forward to what we can tease out today.
I think it's going to be good. Folks, thank you for being here with us. And we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and the Balanced Life Wellness Center and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator, Italian Sausage. Back in a moment. We're going to talk about the 10 principles of Stoicism today on strategies. Or we're going to continue the conversation. You know what I mean. We'll be back.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wonder how to get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab.
Man, you got some strategies.
I got some for you, man. Let me hand them to you.
I'm not sure we're doing that justice at all. I don't know, but anyway, we're doing the best we can. Welcome in.
Messing around.
Yeah, just fooling around. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, and thank you for being here with us. We're talking about everything we're talking about today is from the little book, or it's not everything from the little book, but a lot of it is our stuff, but it's inspired by the little book, The Stoic Mindset and Living the 10 Principles of Stoicism. If you missed yesterday, that's fine, because you'll catch right on today. The fact of the matter is that Stoicism, even though A lot of people don't know what it is unless you've taken a philosophy class
Right.
sometime in the past. Maybe it's talked about at some other graduate level classes, but unless you fit into one of those categories, which most people don't, they've really never heard of Stoicism. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of today's therapy, if you go to see a psychologist, a therapist who's been trained, in the last 30 or 40 years, right? Which is going to be the majority of who's practicing out there today. They're going to approach helping you or attempting to help you with some form of Stoic philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely.
And it's that important. And I would encourage all of us to learn more about it. Now, yesterday, we talked about using setbacks as signposts. We talked about judging less and understanding more. We talked about winning by not focusing on winning. And we talked about what's good for the team is good for you.
We all do better when we all do better.
There you go. Today, we're going to begin with accept your fate.
Ooh, that's
and
a nice
love
place
it.
to begin.
Yeah, accept your fate. But then there's a twist that Stoicism kind of sends in there.
Amor fati,
Yeah.
the love of fate.
Accept your fate and love it. So Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said this. He said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and all will be well with you."
Yep.
Yeah.
In other words, it'll unfold as it should. Right?
That's usually that's usually a key to a peaceful life is the acceptance or the understanding
and when we
that
say
life is life.
right, when we say accept your fate, it doesn't mean to give up, throw up your hands in
no,
helplessness and
not at
accept
all.
whatever life throws at you.
Not
right?
at all. No.
But it means to embrace all of life's events.
Yeah.
Right? Even those that seem the most challenging.
I didn't see this coming. I don't necessarily like that it's shown up, but it is what has shown up. It is what's in front of me. And so
Yes.
I'm gonna do the best that I can do with it.
It's a huge shift, right? When you go from life happens around you, or life, even what a lot of people actually are stuck in, is life happens to me.
Yeah, but actually life happens for us.
Absolutely.
And when we make that shift, it's a subtle one-word shift. But when we
But
make
that's the power of mindset.
but when we make that shift, man, shift happens.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And I mean, here's what Epictetus said. Epictetus taught and teaches us to make the best of every situation. And not just that, he teaches us to love every situation. It's foolish and it's pointless to wish things were different than they are.
Right.
For a start, it's simple logic. Wishing for figs in winter, he says, we can't deny life's reality, right?
Right.
And how many times, I mean, this kind of hits us, how many times do we, quote unquote, wish for figs in winter? Friedrich Nietzsche, who was a 19th century German philosopher, he wasn't a Stoic, but his life motto comes to the same place as Epictetus's lesson. You said it earlier, amor fati, I think is the way you pronounce it. In other words, love your fate.
Love of fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nietzsche thought this was a key. This was a key to a happy life. The trick is not wishing things were different than they actually are. The dog that happily runs along with the cart isn't balking at being tied to a moving vehicle. If you not only accept but even go so far as to love your fate, you'll be able to handle whatever life throws at you.
And we have a saying for this, right?
Yeah.
And it's called hindsight is 20/20, right?
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Well, in some form, right? A lot of us are able to look back and see, man, I was very upset when I lost my job at that point, right? But looking back, I can see that how much of a blessing it was, right? Because I was then able to really take a look at myself and realize that, I really love cooking and that's what I want to do, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So many situations like that in our lives, we can look back and say, man, at the time, it was not funny, or it was not pleasant.
Oh, yeah, I can remember, and I've said this before on the air, but I'll say it again because it's true. The only job that I've ever been fired from in my life was the best thing that ever happened.
Right.
I didn't end up staying fired long. I was rehired by the station that fired me about 3 weeks afterwards. But that's the rest of the story. But if I hadn't been actually fired, I'm not sure that we would be having this conversation today, because I'm not sure I would have ever gotten my behind to graduate school,
right,
to get a degree in counseling and do whatever it is that I've managed to do the last 30 some odd years, including this radio program. And I don't want that to sound in any way pat me on the back or being, coming from an egotistical place. It's just
no. I hear it as gratitude.
The fact is, I'm very grateful. Yeah. But I can tell you, I can remember those, the 72 hours or so after being, fired from the very radio station that I had helped found.
Right.
That I had helped begin, and that I had put a lot of my heart and soul and blood and sweat and tears into, right? That'll get you.
Yeah.
That'll get you. And so, but I can now look back and say, wow, that was a good thing. I wish maybe that I had the wisdom to embrace it in the moment,
Well, but it's also important to be able to move through and do our grieving no matter what.
Yeah. Another of these is, and this is one that a lot of people might say, too, and it's death makes life epic. And so Seneca says, let us go to our sleep with joy and gladness. Let us say, I've lived the course which fortune set for me, and it's finished. Yeah.
That is to say that I've lived each day to the fullest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so often do we get caught up in, our big future dreams and goals, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when it becomes a problem is when that's our sole focus.
Yeah.
And we're so focused on, I got to get here, I got to do this, I got to be here, that you're not being here, right?
Right.
You forget where you are.
Yeah, and death, believe it or not, is an important subject.
Absolutely.
A very important subject in Stoic philosophy.
Well, in general.
Seneca wrote a lot about it. And actually, Seneca was an advisor to Emperor Nero. And when you were, as an advisor to Emperor Nero, he had very little certainty in his life. Because Nero, if you remember from world history, steadily revealed himself to be a cruel dictator during his reign. And he even had his mother murdered. So you don't get... You don't get much worse than that. So a high position in the imperial court was just simply not the best guarantee for a long and peaceful life,
Right. Yeah. So he had a lot of days perhaps worrying about death.
But Seneca did make it to old age. He did retire. And when he... was retired and, enjoying his pension, he reflected a good deal on his life, and he shared the lessons he drew by, among other things, writing letters to his friend Lucilius. And in one of those letters, he wrote that dying was an everyday process. As with each passing day, another part of us was taken. With every day that we live, we come one step closer to death, even though we might not realize it. In that sense, death isn't something to be too grave about, because in that sense, you realize death is happening every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that we endure several, call it whatever you want, dark night of the soul, but I also have
many deaths.
Many deaths.
Many
Right.
deaths, small deaths.
Right. We endure many death portals throughout our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Where we really truly have the ability to remake ourselves. And while we might recognize them in these many death events, it's really something that's been building and we've been chipping away at for days, right? And so it's a daily process of remaking yourself. And we get that in every moment.
Yeah. And when you first look at it, that might really sound weird,
Yeah.
and I get that, and I can honestly say, it for years it did sound weird to me, but it also, from the vantage point now, it makes so much sense to me, and is actually, believe it or not, death is a comfort as we live life, because there's a point.
Yeah.
And am I living this day to the highest order, to the best of my ability, getting and squeezing all out of it that I can. I hope so.
Carpe diem.
Yeah, there you go. We're talking about the Stoic mindset today here on Strategies for Living, breaking it down for all of us, and we'll be back with more right here. Stay with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, 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 strategies for living radio.
And that's what you're listening to here on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome back. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about the Stoic mindset today, living the 10 principles of Stoicism. Good little book from Mark Tuitert. And we were wrapping up last segment,
Right.
and you had one more thing you wanted to say
Just
about
one more thing
about death.
to slip in there. Yeah, because it reminds me his actual tenet is death makes life epic, right? Which sounds really strange, but I can demonstrate for you in one exercise how death makes life epic.
Okay.
So
I'm game.
all right, so I want you to imagine you're nearing your deathbed, right?
Okay.
And so you're fading out, and you only have one memory that comes across your mind that's left.
Okay.
And that memory you are living right now. So if you imagine that you're on your deathbed and the last memory you have is the moment you are living right now, how much more fully engaged are you going to be with in the moment and appreciate really how much death then makes life worth living?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it brings home that we never have this moment again.
Yeah.
Is that old saying that you never step in the same river twice?
Yeah.
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 So.
Makes so much sense. Another lesson is that happiness is a side effect.
Okay.
Seneca said, "He is a king who fears nothing. He is a king who desires nothing." So, let's unpack that. What the heck does that mean? Because that's hard for us.
What was the first part? He is a king.
He is a king who fears nothing.
Fears nothing.
He is a king who desires nothing.
Yeah.
And in our culture, let's just be real. Let's be honest with ourselves and with everybody else. We live in a culture of desires.
Oh boy, do we! It's called consumerism.
And we've all experienced the last few years together. I'm talking from 2020, 2019, 2020, specifically 2020 with the onset of
coronavirus.
The coronavirus and all that came after that and all that came after that and all that came after that. It's kind of been layered. But we've all experienced a lot of fear.
Oh, boy, have we. Yeah.
And
we've been invited to, that's for sure.
Yeah. So here's what the Stoics, we now know, aren't focused on an end product or an end result.
Right.
They're exclusively concerned with the process that ultimately and hopefully leads to a desired result. A Stoic strives for peace of mind under all circumstances. Whether that result is achieved or not, that's the striving for peace of mind. So the Stoics observe not only themselves, but also the people around them, people who we might say have achieved status, the kind of status that so many desire, emperors and wealthy business people and successful athletes and successful senators. Stoics described how miserable these people often felt. Seneca writes about Emperor Augustus, who longed for an empty agenda as consolation for all his toil, while yearning after the pleasant illusion that he would live for himself one day. And Seneca mentions the famous orator and consul Cicero, who, sitting in his villa as the power struggle between Caesar and Pompey over Rome unfolded, called himself half free. And so these outwardly successful figures constantly complained of wanting more and of not being free and wishing for, guess what? Peace of mind. Yeah?
Yeah, it really speaks to the mind of asking the question, what is true wealth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's a strategy? Well, one of the things that we said yesterday we liked about this little book was it has a number of exercises. And obviously, we're not going to share all of them. That wouldn't be fair to the author. But I shared one yesterday, and I want to share one today.
All right.
We're in the month of November. This is the month of Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, it is.
And in this chapter, he has an exercise that's called the gratitude exercise.
All right.
So he says the best recipe for becoming happier is to increase your gratitude. And so by doing so, you focus automatically on what you have to do rather than on what you don't. So here's step one. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and lay them next to your bed. And step two, before you turn the light off tonight, write 3 things you're thankful for today. And it can be big.
Right.
I'm thankful for Lauren's love, okay? It can also be small. I love my pillow.
Right.
This pillow is so comfortable, and I love this pillow. So it can be big, it can be small. And here's the deal. And that's all the exercise is. But at the bottom of this exercise, he says, do you like this exercise? Do it again tomorrow. and obviously, again the next day.
Right.
And again the next day.
Right.
And again the next day.
Yeah.
And,
that's the surest way to happiness, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember what
It's to appreciate what you have already.
Yeah.
And know that what you appreciates.
Happiness is a side effect.
Right.
So many of us try to chase it, and we
The pursuit of happiness,
we
right?
don't and we don't understand why it eludes us, why it seems to run away from us even.
Yeah. I have a theory that, the true peace of mind, right? It's peace, P-I-E-C, right?
Yeah.
And so true peace of mind is to recognize all of the pieces within me, which are, one piece is happy, one piece is sad, one piece is angry, one piece is joyful, right? One piece is blissful, and one piece is frustrated.
Yeah.
And it's about accepting all of those pieces of me, and that's what peace of mind is.
If you accept all of that, you're really peaced off.
That's right.
And that's a good thing. Yeah. So the next lesson is, a map is good, a compass is even better. Yeah. So Seneca again, quoting Seneca.
Yeah.
If one knows not to which port they sail, no wind is favorable. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So Seneca wrote a lot about finding the right direction. And he would marvel at people who just muddled along, not knowing what they wanted.
Oh, he would be just all agog today.
And he was, these people would muddle along. They didn't know what they wanted, but yet they would complain in their life that nothing was working. So according to Seneca, you have to think carefully about what you want to do with your life. But in the meantime, take action. The one does not exist apart from the other. The one man cannot live in contemplation without action, nor can the other act without contemplation. And that, by that he means, it's good to think about where you want to go before heading out, and that you can only know whether you're on the right track once you've actually set out. Think about the way you navigate on Google Maps.
Right.
It's only when you start that you know whether you're heading the right direction. And that's the same way in life. You navigate slowly and by way of unavoidable detours toward your goal, Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the advice we were given in my Master's of Science in Counseling.
Yeah.
And that was, for each client that you go in to see, have a plan, but be willing to throw it out. Completely scrap it.
Yeah.
Go in with some idea of where you want to go.
Right.
But be willing to toss it out completely.
Yeah.
And another thing it kind of stirs in me is this idea that we all have in our heads that we, to achieve something great, we have to be on the path for this great big career goals, right? And so we spend our time, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And you spend your time twiddling your thumbs thinking about, well, what's the greatest career and where do I want to move towards, right? And again, you're not starting, right? And so often the best advice is just to urge you to go towards what excites you most in that moment.
Yeah.
And if it changes, go towards that.
So be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Continue to follow your excitement, your passion.
Yeah. I mean, I think of my own path, and I can think of, as a young man, listening to the radio and saying, if I could only be a DJ, man, wouldn't that be great to sit there and play records and entertain people?
Right.
And I got to do that. And it wasn't long before, wouldn't it be great if I could run this place?
Right.
And I got to do that. And wouldn't it be great if, I got to own part of this place? Wouldn't it be great? And I think God played a horrible trick on me. I got to do that. and then I got fired. And that led me to, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, that led me to a place that I couldn't have expected. And I can remember sitting in that classroom the first day of, graduate program in counseling, and I can remember thinking, I'm home. And I can remember feeling, I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm finally home.
This is it.
This
is where I was meant to be.
I didn't have any way of knowing what I didn't know.
Right.
Until I knew it. Yeah. We're talking the Stoic mindset today. We're talking the principles of Stoicism that hopefully help all of us. We'll talk more here on Strategies for a Living. Don't go away.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living radio.
And welcome back in. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio here on 101.7 FM. 710 Keel, Lauren, Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about living the 10 principles of Stoicism, the Stoic mindsets, the little book we're talking about. It's by Mark Tuitert, who was a Olympic gold medalist athlete and now successful entrepreneur, and has written a great little book that is called The Stoic Mindset. Let's see, we're to...
Well, before we leave, a map is good.
Oh, you don't want to leave that.
No,
okay.
I don't want to leave it yet.
Yeah.
Map is good, a compass is better.
Yeah.
I think we touched on this, but I do want to emphasize, right, what that kind of, I think the idea behind it is that while overarching plans can be useful, it's what you want, a compass. It's having a guiding set of principles, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's essential to navigate life's uncertainties. Because if you are, as you were, set out to be head of the radio, own the radio station, right?
Well, I had a piece of it, and I helped start it,
Right.
and was in management.
Right. And if you had set that plan out, right, well, your case might not be the best example because you achieved it. But if you were headed somewhere
Right.
and you hit some kind of stumbling block, you might throw your hands up and say, all is lost.
I
But
thought about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Okay, well,
to be honest,
right. And if you then had an inner set of principles, a guiding set of principles, maybe one being that, well, life unfolds as it should. Something
Okay.
along those lines.
Okay, yeah.
Or I value.
I wasn't smart enough to have that one, but I tell you what I did have.
Yeah.
I did have, and what eventually got me to the point that that where I arrived was I wanted to help people.
That's a great guiding
I wanted
set.
to help people, and I was doing that in the work. Yes, in the work that I was doing, but I was doing it a great deal through my activities at church, right?
Yeah.
And actually getting into the graduate program, and as I said, when I first got in, the first day, I knew I was home. I knew and in a way, I guess I had to thank God for, hey, I wasn't smart enough to get me here, but somehow, some way, you or the universe arranged this. So thank you,
Right.
So anyway, that's the
And so
deal.
it's about having an inner compass, being
Yeah.
able to trust your own inner guidance system.
So lesson 9 is that character is your most important project. Marcus Aurelius says, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. One of the most important Stoic principles has to do with character. And how do we do that? How do we cultivate good character? Maybe that's the most important question in Stoicism.
Yeah.
You
It makes me think of, you said, how did we cultivate character? And what came to mind was actually like chiseling a statue out of marble. And I think in a lot of ways, that's how we do develop character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's through being chiseled out.
Yeah.
It's an uncovering.
And you're willing to see, you got that, what looks like to most people a big old block of marble.
Right.
And you see something else inside there.
Right.
And you keep chiseling it away.
Right. To reveal what's there anyway.
Yeah. To reveal what is in your mind.
Yes.
In that marble.
Right.
So Marcus Aurelius puts it nicely when he proposes that each day we should say to ourselves, and I'm quoting,
Okay.
today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. According to Marcus Aurelius, it's about being able to make that distinction yourself. So, and as an example of a good person, the Stoics use the idea of the sage, an archetypical hero. The sage is someone who leads a perfect life in total harmony with nature according to the highest of human values. They're the epitome of courage, temperance, justice, wisdom, and the cardinal virtues from classical philosophy. Is that too high-minded?
No.
No. Yeah. So,
I also like the idea that it's character, the idea of the word character, perhaps, that we are all our own main character, right? And so that's our biggest project, is to develop that character, that character arc. Where is it going to go? Are you going to be a well-developed character, or not so much?
a character in development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The writing is still going on. Yeah.
Absolutely, always. And you have the pen.
And yeah, exactly. You are the pen and you're the paper, and you get to write. You're the
author. You're the director. You're the lights manager. You're the kit and caboodle.
That's it. And lesson 10 says actions speak louder than words. Seneca again. We do not learn for school. we learn for life.
That's right.
Yeah. So, it really is all about actions. Epictetus, when he lectured, liked to use the example of an athlete training for the Olympic Games. Of course,
As is Mark Tuitert.
Yeah, that certainly appealed to him. According to Epictetus, we must consult ourselves. What do we need to do to achieve something? It's a simple, but it's a crucial question. And so we can say that we want to compete in the Olympic Games, but so do a whole lot of other, athletes.
What weeds them out is who has the dedication to practice, to follow through.
Well, and will you follow the diet? Will you follow the training schedule? And your trainer, like they're your doctor, like what they have for you and what they have to share for you is life and death, So, we recently spoke to our friend Raymond Grace.
Yes.
Yeah. And Raymond said, and he's got several sayings.
I know which one you're going. It's one of my favorites.
But he says, if you want something to happen, do something.
Right. If you do something, something might happen. If you do nothing, nothing's
going to happen.
So do something.
Yeah.
That's Raymond.
Yeah, and you gotta love the sage wisdom of
from the
hills and
of Kentucky.
Raymond Grace. We're talking today about living the 10 principles of Stoicism. If you like any of this and you want to dive deeper into it, the name of the little book is The Stoic Mindset. It's by Mark Tuitert, who is an Olympic gold medalist and successful entrepreneur, and he's used these principles for his own training, his own success. And we'll be back. We'll be back here with Strategies for Living in just a moment. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare.
And welcome back to Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. David McMillan and Lauren Leon McMillan talking about these 10 principles of Stoicism. What are you taking away from today, Lauren? that chuckle.
Well, there's so much, right?
Yeah.
And if you could apply any one of the 10 that we've talked about, you could really begin to reap the benefits of a more resilient, more attuned, more present, more fulfilling life. I truly believe. The two that really stand out to me today, I think, are to accept your fate and love it.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to
we can't control
see-
out there, but we can control in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to see that life is unfolding for me and ask the question, okay, what can I do with this? What lesson is within this?
Yeah. And what's the other one?
Oh, the other one is death makes life epic.
Yeah.
Right. Just being able to put that in front of us, just like you do at the end of every radio show, right?
Yeah.
To remind yourself, us, all of us, that we never know. And so it's so important. You know, the greatest gift we can give to each other is our own presence in the present, each moment.
Yeah.
And that's what makes life worth living.
We may never pass this way again. Folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning into Strategies for Living. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our sponsors making all of this possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and the Balanced Life Wellness Center and Fertitta's Delicatessen, the home of the Godfather, Alligator, Italian sausage. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who is it that you'd call? And what is it that you'd say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.